doing this one on the fly because I've just watched the video and I've got the thoughts, they're in my head, and if I wait and I go home, then they'll be gone. And it helps the fact that I've just stuck my head in a very strange X-ray machine that looks like this, and that was to X-ray my teeth because I've got to have them yanked out. You see, I said I go down the route of pliers, let's pull the mother out, and no. But anyway, we've got to do how the NHS tell us. But anyway, I don't want to make this long, but I'm dreading it's going to go into a rant. Patti, what scientific enhancement, accomplishment, development would I want to exist, whether it be real, fictitious, whatever? Hers was brilliant, very clever to do that. Yeah, very clever and very correct about the mortality levels. It's very easy to say, oh, I wish we had no diseases, no death, no suffering, world peace and all that. But if you think about it, it's true. You got to have people to die to keep the cycle going. To keep the cycle of life going, you have to have death. We have watched The Lion King. Watch The Lion King. You know, Mufasa explains it impeccably. So unless you, equally, if you're going to sort of like have the technology to sort of banish all disease and suffering, then you've also got to have the technology and the moral dilemma of controlling birth rate, because in parts of this world birth rate is out of control. I mean, it just opens up a can of worms in it, and debates on every level. I was thinking of something that was connected to that now. If it was possible, it would be good to have some sort of, how the hell you would implement it, I don't know, but it would be some sort of scientific way of making sure, this is going to sound so, it's almost dictatorial, this is going to sound like, but I don't mean it like that. It's the right people have children, and when I say the right people, I mean there are really, really good people out there that become foster parents and adopt children, and they end up just natural parents, absolutely fantastic, and their children become amazing humans. But lots of them are the people that can't naturally have children, and that is so unfair. It's such a shitty hand to be dealt, isn't it? Another reason why there's no God, or one of the many reasons. You know, shitty hand to be dealt, to have that ability, natural mothering, natural fathering ability, and not being able to, your equipment don't work. It's not fair. And then when you see people that really shouldn't be having children, and we know what we're talking about here, come on, well, let's not take the piss, we know what we're talking about here. People that they can barely look after themselves, let alone another individual, not another mouth to feed, and yet they manage to pop out 7 or 8. It's not right. It's not right at all. That's the instinctual mentality of we're going to breed as much as we can for the survival rate to stay up. But we don't live in a world like that anymore. We live in a world with medicine and technology and science. We don't need to breed in this manner anymore. We don't. We will survive as a race either way. We won't survive by being outbred anyway. We'll be killed by ourselves. If anything happens like that, or aliens will come. Who knows? I hope they do. That'd be an interesting way. But no, that'd be an interesting thing. But I would like to extend on what Pattimus, you darling, you say, darling, you talk about chemicals in brain, and they would stop me making silly fucking voices like that as well, wouldn't they? But that's the idea of that is excellent, because it's not taking away the eventual death, as it were, but it's alleviating the pain and the suffering that comes with it. And that's exactly what I would want to do, but take it a little step further. I'm not talking about getting rid of disease and stuff like that, as much as I would like to, because the implications are just too enormous. But what about the ability to regrow parts of the anatomy. I mean properly, from the body, not in a test tube and not artificially grafted on. Properly just regrow them spontaneously. I mean, I'm not talking about Wolverine here. It would take a long. It would be a process. It wouldn't be instantaneous. It wouldn't be like instant healing. It's not like Claire from Heroes. But to have a part of your body damaged internally or externally that otherwise hampers your life and stops you from achieving the things that you could achieve. Like say if you had, like soldiers for instance that lose their legs and stuff, it'd be, and grow them new legs so they would, you know, that kind of thing. And internally, an organ that doesn't work, it's not a disease as such, it fails, it doesn't work. Like for instance, a child that's born with a hole in the heart, to have a method of regrowing that part of the damaged part of the heart so that they can continue to live a normal life. And it's not sort of like denying death, but it's just helping them through that pain, but elevating them to what they can achieve. The same would go for mental illness as well, to a degree. You can't, you know, you see where I'm going with this? I hope you are. It's, yeah, that ability to, if you're blind, if you were born with your full sight and you became blind, but so you lost an eye, you could regrow the eye and you would have the eye back. You know, you wouldn't die. You could live your life blind, but if you had the chance to have new eyes, then you can continue to live your life as much as to the maximum as well. One of the most tragic conditions that I ever see is locked-in syndrome. Breaks my heart, that does, because that person is fully aware, fully compos mentis. I'm not. See, they're more than me. Compos mentis. They know exactly what's going on, but their body won't move. It's what a horrible situation. I couldn't imagine it. Couldn't imagine that at all. It'd be hideous to know that you want to move, you can, you feel everything is normal up here, but for some reason this is not talking to the rest of it, and it just is locked. And it's just to repair, say, that part of the brain that's damaged for locked-in syndrome, for instance, would be wonderful, because they can live for a long time, maybe all the rest of their lives like that, and it's horrible to see that. Horrible to see that. And then that would automatically remove the argument of euthanasia altogether, wouldn't it, in that situation? So kind of a sort of like extension on the control of chemicals in the brain that Pat has said, but a way of organically regrowing parts of the body for things that have happened to you that have been either accidental or by no fault of a disease or anything like that. So that you know, you got to keep the ecosystem and the eco balance of any species correct. There's got to be a mortality rate and there's got to be a birth rate, and they've got to be more or less the same. Otherwise, shit happens. Either one way, a species go extinct, other way, overpopulation, and they all die off because there's just not enough resources and not enough food. Big debate, isn't it? Like I said, like Patti says, too many people on this earth. And also, I read the comments before I recorded this, and I think Steve had already said something that I was going to say. Yeah, but I won't repeat it. Read the comments. Read what Steve says and what Smooth MJ says, because I agree with them as well. Scientifically proven there is no God. Not that I don't personally need proof for that, but other people do, and that would sort a lot of shit out, wouldn't it? Would. Anyway, that's I've waffled on for 10 minutes, nearly 10 minutes, so I've got to stop doing responses. Loads of them. But I love you guys. Nova Bug. Out.